Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Our lesson today about Unit 3, Lesson 3, Conversation, المحادثة. Page 38 and 39. 38. We have a conversation here between Edward and his grandma. Now let's listen to conversation, and after listening to conversation, I'll choose a pair of you to read this conversation. Now listen.
Page 38. 4. Conversation.
Grandma, you've been lugging that book around all weekend.
If I want to read it, what choice do I have?
You can ditch the book and get an electronic book reader.
A what?
An electronic book reader. They're these great little devices that let you read books electronically. So you read on screen instead of on paper.
But I like reading on paper.
Trust me, Grandma. In a few years, no one is going to be reading books printed on paper anymore. Paper books will have disappeared.
I don't like all this new technology. I'm happy with things the way they are.
You really should check out ebook readers. One of the advantages is that you can buy, download, and start reading a book in minutes. Another great thing about it is that you can carry hundreds of books with you without it being heavy.
Why would I want to carry hundreds of books with me?
Grandma, I'm sure if you just gave it a try, you'd find that you actually prefer it. Why not go with the flow?
I think this is all just a lot of hoopla. I've been reading my books on paper for 58 years, and I'm not about to change that now.
Now, I want Muhammad, Fahd, and Al-Walid. Muhammad, Fahd, Edward, Al-Walid, grandma, to read this conversation. Let's go. Muhammad.
Grandma, you've been lugging that book all around all weekend.
If I want to read it, what choice do I have?
You can ditch the book and get an electronic book reader.
A what?
An electronic book reader. The great devices let you read books electronically, so you read on screen instead of on paper.
But I like reading on paper.
Trust me, Grant, in a few years, no one is going to be reading books printed on paper. Paper books will have disappeared.
I don't like all this new technology. I am happy with things the way they are.
You really should check out ebook readers. One of the advantages is that you can buy, download, and start reading a book in minutes. Another great thing about it is that you can carry hundreds of books without it being heavy.
Why would I want to carry hundreds of books around with me?
Grant, I'm sure if you just gave it a try, you'd find that you actually prefer it. Why not go with the flow?
I think this is all just a lot of hoopla. I have been reading my books on paper for 68 years, and I am not about to change that now.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. In the end, he failed to persuade his grandma. Now, let's see the questions. Number 1. What does Edward want grandma to try? Number 1. What does Edward want grandma to try? Ziad. إدوارد بيحاول يعمل إيه مع جدته؟ What does Edward want grandma to try؟ عايزها تجرب إيه؟
دقيقة يا شاد.
طيب ناصر.
شو اسمه الكترونيك بوك.
Yes, excellent. Electronic books. To read or to try electronic books. عايز أجرب الكتب الإلكترونية. Number 2. What arguments does he make? الجدالات اللي هو عملها معاها. عمل جدالات وخلافات معاها. هذه الجدالات كانت كالآتي. E-books readers can hold hundreds of books. بيقول لها إن الكتب الإلكترونية ممكن تحمل معاك في الجوال أو في الموقع مئات الكتب، تشيلها معاك وأنت رايح جاي. بخلاف الكتب الورقية مش هتقدر تشيل. You can buy, download and start reading a book in minutes. كمان تقدر تشتري أو تحمل وتبدأ في القراءة في خلال دقائق. طيب the last question. Is Edward successful in persuading grandma? أحمد عبود، هل نجح إدوارد في إقناع الجدة؟
نعم. Yes.
Sure. And why?
Sure.
Sure. طيب
Yeah.
why?
Because أنا تشوف.
جواب السؤال.
طيب فيصل موجود؟
ايه موجود.
طيب فيصل, answer this question. Is Edward successful in persuading grandma?
No.
Why?
Because she like old book.
That's excellent. Because she likes paper books. Because she doesn't want to change. هي مش عايزة تتغير، هي عايزة تفضل على قديمه. Well done فيصل، أحسنت، الله يفتح عليك. This is our answers. Take a screenshot. And next. Now listen to the information about the future of newspaper. Then complete the chart with the advantage and disadvantage of each news format. Now listen. استمعوا يا شباب إلى النص. بعد كده هنكتب، أنا هنحل الأسئلة هذه. مزايا وعيوب الجريدة. Listen.
Page 39. 5. Listening. Listen to the information about the future of newspapers and complete the chart with the advantages and disadvantages of each news format. Since the early 17th century, newspapers have had the same general format. The news has been printed in ink on paper. Then the newspapers have been circulated to a particular area. However, the internet brought great change to the newspaper industry. To stay competitive, it became important to have an online presence. Today, most major newspapers around the world have an online version of their print paper. Online newspapers present some important advantages. For example, they can present up-to-the-minute news instead of having to wait to print the next edition of the paper. An advantage to the reader is that most online news sources are free. However, it seems almost certain that there are further changes ahead for the way newspapers are presented and sold. Most people in the newspaper industry feel that the next step will be electronic newspapers. Electronic newspapers would use technology related to today's electronic book readers. Like these readers, e-newspapers would use e-ink. Like a computer screen, e-ink has the ability to instantly refresh and change images. However, e-ink uses paper instead of a computer screen, so e-ink images look more like the images in actual books and newspapers. The electronic newspaper will have the look and feel of a print newspaper in other ways as well. It will be as large as the typical print newspaper, with a lightweight portable screen that is flexible enough to be rolled or folded like a newspaper. The e-newspaper will combine these advantages of print newspapers with the advantages of online media, such as constant and instant updates, interactivity, and video capability. Replacing print newspapers with the e-newspapers will mean that newspaper companies would no longer have the enormous costs of printing, manufacturing, and delivering newspapers. This will mean tremendous savings. One newspaper publisher predicts by 2030, we will have shifted to an electronic format and we will have stopped printing paper newspapers completely. When that day comes, newspapers are going to go back to being the most important source of news to the public.
Now let's show our answers. Newspaper print, online and electronic. Advantage and disadvantage. These our answers. Take a screenshot or take a photo. Your homework today is this question. What do you think some disadvantage of the electronic newspaper might be? What do you think some disadvantage of the electronic newspaper might be? Uncle Sarah. هكتب السؤال ده على كده لسيرة يا شباب والكل يجاوب عليه كهومورك. Next. Now consonant clusters. consonant clusters اللي هي لو جالك مثلا حرفين أو 3 حروف ساكنة consonant حروف ساكنة ورا بعض. إزاي هتقدر تقول هذه الحروف؟ إياك هو بيحذر إنك أنت ممكن تضيف صوت من الأصوات المتحركة A, E, I أي حروف متحركة ما بين هذه الحروف. يعني مثلا كلمة بروت اللي أمامك هذه بروت ال VR حروف ساكنة، فلما تيجي تقرأها ضمهم على بعض ما تدخلش ما بينهم حروف ساكنة. يعني لا تقل بيروت كلمة بيروت هذه كده أنت أضفت حرف الإي بعد البي، خطأ. بروت ضمهم على بعض بحيث إن مفيش حروف تأتي بعدهم. طيب listen to this exercise. هنشغل لكم listening. بسم الله.
Page 39. 6. Pronunciation. Consonant clusters may contain 2 or 3 consonants. For example, broken, plan, understand, street, spray, hungry. Be careful not to separate the consonants in a cluster with a vowel sound or add a vowel sound before the cluster. Listen and practice.
1. The internet brought great change to the newspaper industry. 2. To stay competitive, it soon became important to have an online presence. 3. Newspapers could present up-to-the-minute news instead of having to wait to print it. 4. The electronic newspaper reader will have the look and feel of a print newspaper. 5. It will have a portable screen that is flexible. 6. One newspaper publisher predicts, by 2030, we will have stopped printing paper newspapers completely.
Now the final exercise today. آخر تدريب اليوم. We have recorded and we want.
يا أستاذ صفحة كم هذه؟
Page 39.
Okay.
The meanings of these words in Arabic. Listen to match. Number 1, chain, سلسلة. Write the meaning. Chain, سلسلة. Number 2, commonplace, شائع. مألوف. Number 3, estimated, مقدر بالفلوس له ثمنه. Number 4, lucrative, مربح، أمر مربح، مكسب. Number 5, orbit، المدار. Number 6, rigorous، صارم. Number 7, simulate، صارم، محاكاة. The last one, steep means انحدار، معناها انحدار، لكن هنا جايب معنى باهظ الثمن، غالي. steep غالي. Now number 1.
أي أستاذ.
وليد. chain.
أنا زياد.
تفضل.
chain C أستاذ. A group
yes,
of
well done زياد. A group of business owned by the same company. C. Number 2.
أنا أستاذ بجاوب.
مسفر ولا مين؟
أي أنا مسفر.
تفضل. Number 2.
E.
E. Yes, excellent. Frequent or usual? Yes, well done, Miss Fer. Number 3, estimated, Nasser.
هلا يا أستاذ.
Number 3.
3 نسيت.
مربح.
سي حليناها يا أستاذ.
سي اخترناها. Number 3 estimated, مربح.
اف
no. سوري احنا بنقول له creative. Number 3 estimated معناه مقدر. سوري ناصر، مقدر يعني مقدر بثمن غالي. انا كنت بترجم هذا. مقدر.
expensive.
لا مقدر مش غالي، مقدر given and approximately cost. G. لكن نمبر 4 lucrative اللي هي مربح. هنقول producing a lot of money. F. producing a lot of money. F. طيب نمبر 5
حلا
orbit.
يساب.
orbit الوليد.
بي يساب.
B. Yes, excellent. B. Number 6 عبد الله فلاح. عبد الله فلاح number 6. rigorous صارم، شيء صعب، صارم. عبد الله.
H.
Number 6. No, try another one.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. شو المفروض؟
Number 6 extremely difficult. extremely difficult. A. Number 7 علي simulate محاكاة.
7 H.
Yes, excellent. H. The last one steep is expensive. D. Now write the answers. Now we have finished our lesson.